All righty. What is not to love about a live stream? I mean, frankly, you can get away with so much. When you're on radio, when you have FCC regulations and you have bosses and people looking over your shoulder and say, why don't you do this? And why did you do that? And then you don't on a live stream. It's really about you. Finally, the audience matters. So I am super glad to be here today with you. And we're going to talk a little bit about toadstools. What do you mean toadstools? Why would we talk about toadstools? Because if Stormy Daniels is to be believed, then the former president has a presidential proboscis that actually looks shockingly like a toadstool, like this, for instance. Horrible. Maybe more like that, actually. And he plunged it twixt her quivering labia. And she says it was of the 1,000 men she'd had sex with, the very worst. We're going to get into that in just a little bit and get your opinions on that as well. But let me bring in my comrades, Rory Penland, the great Rory Penland, man of 1,000 voices, actually 1,006 voices. He hasn't quite changed his moniker yet, but we may get it up to 1,700 soon, I think.
I'm working on Harvey Firestein. I'm sorry, Harvey Weinstein. I've got Harvey Firestein, no problem. Is that so wrong?
Harvey Firestein
lost his career.
Okay, let's talk about Harvey Firestein before we get into the hideosity that is the presidential prong. If Stormy Daniels is to be believed. Harvey Weinstein also apparently had gnarled genitalia. I mean, hideously. Now, we all knew that Adolf Hitler he was a monoball. He had a single testicle from World War I where it got blown off by shrapnel, exploding his scrotum and spreading about a single testicle all over the fields somewhere in France, you see.
I did not know that. You told me.
This apparently is why French wine has a particular taste to it. Some ones anyway. And with a single testicle as the Fuhrer, well, he's in a bad mood. He's going to get even.
He has to compensate.
They try to explain why for 10 years he never boinked Ava Brown.
That's why he was so upset.
Stop making fun of my one ball. And, having to wear those giant baggy horse riding pants and uniforms. This is what Hugo Boss, by the way, designed the German uniforms. Hugo Boss, still a big brand, available at Macy's, on sale today. The Hugo Boss was a costume designer in Germany. Springtime, before that, a costume designer back in the 1920s. And the Fuhrer used to go to a lot of plays and sit there and eat his popcorn and, grope the knees next to him. And he saw these fabulous women coming out like Victoria with big headdresses like showgirls, drag queens. He used to go to those bars, It's another story for another time. And he knew that Hugo Boss knew a thing or two about needle and thread. And boy, did he make some good Nazi uniforms. But the Fuhrer's one was never snug around the crotch. Much like W. Bush, if you'll remember, back after 9/11, would walk around standing in front of F-24s or F-21s. Do you remember these famous photos? And you'd look down at his naughty bits, not that you wanted to, but they were so stuffed with socks and cornmeal and oat bran and, I don't know, stalks of celery, whatever he had in there. And, standing next to swinging Dick Cheney.
I just want to say.
Horrible. So let's talk a little bit about Donald Trump here and acknowledge Lady G in the background. Because Lady G, can we say hello to you, Lady G? Are you available?
Yes, I'm available. Do you want to tell people what Lady G means for those who have not been educated yet?
Well, there's two Lady Gs. The first Lady G, this AI is killing me. And the toadstool next to me, the toadstool next to me is what Stormy Daniels said the former president's presidential proboscis looks like. Although
it's a beautiful penis. I just want to say
like,
it's gorgeous.
I think that's really more like it.
That's much more like it.
Yeah. That's a toadstool penis if there ever was one.
That's an umbrella.
Now, what are we talking about? Oh, Lady G. So there's two Lady Gs. The first Lady G is Lindsey Graham in Washington, D.C.
And here I thought it was something completely different. I thought it was a woman that wore a meat suit.
That's what they call him in Washington, D.C., the other Republicans. And they call him Lady G because he has a helicopter arrive at least twice weekly that comes from other parts of New York City, for instance, and it brings in rent boys that come in and service Lady G, an unmarried confirmed bachelor, but apparently he gets workouts like Tom Cruise does twice a week. Trainers come in and build a certain muscle like that. But the real Lady G, because we don't care about Lindsay.
We love you a long time.
The real Lady G is the great and powerful, fabulous, unmistakable, irreplaceable Renee.
Why?
Why do we call her Lady G? Well, it's short for Guppy, and Guppy stands for God. I don't remember now. I wrote that
sperm. It's like a beautiful sperm. I'm as life-giving and enlivening as a sperm.
Yes, she fructifies the egg of possibility.
Thank you.
Which is hard for a woman to do that. However, we do know, trending right now, by the way, follow me on TikTok. Follow me. Here's why. If I get up to 1,000 follows, and I'm still a virgin on TikTok, my hymen is like vibrating, waiting to be
Although we
exploded.
tried to pop it the other week, Cary. I tried to pop that hymen. I tried to pop it, Cary.
We did. We got it torn a little bit. But if I get up to 1,000 followers, we can go live for you on TikTok. So go to TikTok right now. Don't leave us. Well, multitask. Go follow on TikTok. Get it up to 1,000 so we can do more. But back to you, Lady G.
I'm still looking for the Lady G spot.
It's right above you. Look up. There.
The story.
So Lady G is Guppy. She's Madam Guppy. And it stands for the Great Unicorn. Because she is a unicorn. She is unique, like none others. I mean, legal prowess, quick-witted, laser-like focus.
Magical
in every possible way. She's a unicorn. She's just a rare piece of treasure. So it is the great... Oh, Christ.
It was goddess.
The goddess. Do I need to look this up or are you going to help me?
Goddess, unicorn, producer, pulchritudinous
producer, or Pee-Pee, as we like to call it.
Pee-Pee. I'm also a Pee-Pee, yeah.
And then the Y for her last name that we dare not say in public.
We dare not say it, no.
We dare not say it.
Track me down.
So she's the Guppy. And there is only one Guppy in this particular fish tank. And since the fish tank is the whole internet, there is one Guppy in the internet, and there she is.
Thank you. Thank you, darling. That means a lot to me. Yes.
Right.
And we're here to talk about unlike me, who's a beautiful sperm sample. We're here to talk about not so pulchritudinous.
Oh, wait a minute. I was in a rabbit hole and you pulled me back out. I was going to say, even though you can fructify the egg of possibility as a woman, which is just not done before, there is a trending story right now about a stingray that is in an aquarium, a public aquarium, like a zoo, and it has somehow impregnated itself. A female stingray self-impregnating, surrounded only by sharks. So we know the sharks didn't boink the stingray. Spiky tails, not a good fit. But I just want you to understand the power of women. I mean, men cannot impregnate themselves. Well, some, like Jeff Stryker, can try. But the issue is not going to result in parturience. But Lady G is among the 3 creatures on the planet that could, if she chose,
If I
she
chose.
chose, yes.
Yes,
She
exactly.
chooses not today, one day at a time.
Is that
but
the
she
General
did.
Sherman thing? If chosen, I will not run, or what is it? I forget that quote, but move along. Sorry.
So moving along, we were talking about if Stormy Daniels is correct, then Donald Trump's. Oh, look at that.
I hear Santa has a strange penis. He comes down your chimney.
I mean, look what's between his legs on the ground. I mean, that's horrifying. Poor Mrs. Claus. No wonder we never see her. She's always in the hospital. So, according to Stormy Daniels, it looks something like this, Donald Trump's, which it's a toadstool. That's exactly what she called
And
it.
the toad is actually there.
Well, and there's a toad on the toadstool. Let's find another one.
I just want to go on the record as my favorite part of this episode is that Cary apparently had a litany of toadstools. Like, one isn't enough. Like, he's literally shown every incarnation and permutation of a toadstool, so we can imagine what it might be, because we don't actually know what Trump's toadstool looks like. But these are the possibilities.
Well,
now look at that.
On Jimmy Kimmel's show, she actually pointed to what it was looked and shaped like. He actually put a whole bunch of toadstools out there.
It's that, right?
She picked one.
So, do you think it is correct? Let's read some of these comments, because I don't want to blow you away. I think Cary came to Cosmos so he could say words like wiener and laugh at ketchup bottle farts again. It's his childhood nostalgia. You're absolutely right. Thank you. You nailed it.
It's what I remember about him from the past.
Exactly. Yes, I haven't changed, and God damn it, I'm not gonna. So if Stormy Daniels is, I know I got to move the toadstool. Hold on, let me get rid of the toadstool so you can do a split screen here.
Another shot
there.
of the
Now you can do a split
toadstool.
screen. Nope, that's my fault. There. Oh, look, it's a miracle. So if Stormy Daniels is to believe that it's a toadstool-shaped presidential proboscis, and she's had over 1,000 men. That's just the one she kept records of, receipts. She said it was the absolute worst sex she had ever had in her life. Now, why is one shaped like that? Now, they're generally not. People can refer to it as a mushroom head, but not a toadstool. Now, it has a shape like that for normal people, not Adolf Hitler, not.
Aren't toadstools poisonous?
Yes, of course they are.
So
Like a reg. Look at that.
That's why she used that term.
AI again. Nothing. When I want it to, it doesn't. So the reason the gland. See, I'm being so careful here. The glans region of the head of your male proboscis has a shape to it. We've all seen it. I don't need to show you pictures. At the back, at the top of the head in the back is a lip. And there's a reason for that. It's because back in the old caveman Neanderthal days, which still exists in most of Florida and much of the South, the woman would, without an invitation, just be mounted or covered, as they say in Africa when you're dealing with gorillas, orangutans, or bonobos, covered by many apes. And so the shape in the back of the head of the glans of the penis, as you pull the penis backwards, that lip pulls back the ejaculum of the previous ape, thereby favoring your issue, so that you are the one most likely to have your DNA redistributed.
It's true. It's true.
Who
and
knew?
most people don't know
Who
that.
knew?
And that's why, if you're trying to conceive, they say don't just keep going back in there all the time, because you're just taking your own sperm back out.
Yeah. So if you're doing, see this behind me, this toadstool here, and I'm just going to move myself around a little bit here. There we go. If you see this toadstool here, you go in, you're going to pull it all out, and the woman's going to scream. A screaming woman is not a happy woman. I'm not saying moaning. I'm saying shrieking at the top of her voice. Now, do you think it's right that Trump's former college roommate Well, they had a saying for him back then. He had a girlfriend who told the other roommates during a drinking party, they were making hairy buffaloes where you pour 500 different bottles of booze into a giant dumpster, basically a big, hefty bag, and you stir it around and everyone drinks it and you just get wasted. Drain alcohol, bourbon, throw in some wine, maybe some rubbing alcohol, Drano, whatever you need to get you buzzed. She reported that he had mounted her and lasted for 2 strokes, like a two-stroke engine, really. And that was it. And so the roommates started calling him, I'm going to remember it in a minute. But he basically 2 strokes and then he squirted. And that was the end of that. 2 something. I'll think of it in a minute. So it doesn't really work if I can't remember it. And to ask you, do you think it's okay if people say that? 2 something Trump. It was 2 dumb.
I'm going to Google it. Let me just.
She's Googling it.
Damn.
She's Googling it.
Well, as the president, because Richard Milhouse Nixon taught us that the president, when the president does it, it's not illegal, right? So if Trump can last under 5 seconds, then people who last over 5 seconds are not patriotic. Wouldn't that syllogism make sense, since that's basically what we're told
sounds like
about
something
everything?
you could say. If they don't last longer than I do, they're all right.
Oh, damn. I'm going to remember that in a minute. This is killing me. I know it.
I'm the best lover. Bar none. Any of my wives will tell you.
But at least it's, I think, a tonic, a relief, a comfort to know that the president of the United States, with his hands on the nuclear football and some 12,000 multi-tipped thermonuclear warheads, prefers to make love to kidnapped 14-year-old girls. Like, it's nice to know that he knows what he likes and that it seems to be okay. Like Jeffrey Epstein, a nice guy, had an island, his own private plane, just like me. I don't understand what's the problem. Now, I think most men of a certain age are not craving. Gary says he's the fastest man alive. No one is faster than me, not even Trump.
No one.
Well, 2 something Trump. Damn, I'm going to think of it.
And I'm trying to Google it right now, and it's not coming up. It's coming up that she said it's the worst 90 seconds of her life, but I'm not coming up with the nickname for whatever.
Well, remember, I'm sure 83 seconds of that were foreplay.
Thrust.
Like, hey, lay down. Shut up, slap. Foreplay.
Right,
And
exactly.
then plunged in the toadstool where it kind of collapsed and then it reinflated. But it reinflated kind of broken, like when an umbrella is in the rain and the wind blows it and it inverts. So now it's like that as he's trying to pull out.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's the 8 seconds that she recalls because of the trauma so severe that she can't remember the other 83 seconds.
Thank God for that. That's the small blessing in disguise here, that she can't remember it. It's awful. And we were talking backstage about the parallels with Harvey Weinstein, who also has unique genitalia, deformed genitalia, and how that's an added distress to the already horrible trauma that they're going
Renee
through.
almost wrecked my car this afternoon when she brought that fact out, and I was driving.
Well, yeah, because
where do you
right,
where do you
Harvey
find this
Weinstein
stuff?
also had some deformed genitalia, and it's awful, and but the thing is what people need to understand is, like, we're not making fun of someone who has bad genitalia. It's that is a part and parcel. They're using that to traumatize other human beings, and at the same time, they're almost noted for being a womanizer, or like Donald Trump integrates his sexual prowess into his entire brand. His entire brand is based on that. So it's so interesting and hypocritical that, look at this toadstool. That's what you're getting. It's all fake. It's just more of his hypocrisy.
Was it trumpet? because that was a school nickname of his. They called him Trumpet.
Trumpet. It was two something Trump, double
Two-
something.
Two-stroke Trump?
Something like that, but it actually had a much
Backstroke?
more delicious. Let me just text my trainer from the gym here, who, God, I sound like I'm in LA.
He would know.
My trainer from the gym. I love it.
The guy there who told me about this.
And then Gregory said that's why Harvey always wore a robe. His disfigurement was chafed by pants.
What was the nickname for Trump with his unfortunate pre-ejaculation syndrome that you told me about? We'll see if he gets back to me within a reasonable period of time.
Well, and then Hefner, Hef also was like considered the worst sexual being. Like every woman who slept with him said it was the worst sexual experience of their life.
But why were they sleeping with him? They all knew this. Why were they sleeping with him? Because huge house, fancy cars, gourmet food, airlines, flights, and all of that. So let's look at someone like Harvey Firestein.
I got you doing it now.
Let's not imagine that.
Stop that.
Harvey,
I am not him.
I'm gonna get rid of that so that you can do a split screen here, okay? And I'm just gonna move myself over to there we go.
So
Bingo.
Renee said that his testicles were not there. That because of some
Weinstein?
STD that he had when he was young or younger, he had lost his testicles.
His man parts.
So
think about what it is.
It's amazing that she found this information.
Think of what it is. Think of what it is. It's got to be power. Nothing more than subjugating and letting little people know how little they are. And it's easy. The easiest thing for him to do is let women know how little they are. Because with other men, he's going to have to fight, negotiate, deal with them in court. He can't have a bad vibe when you're going to try to cut contracts with Harvey Weinstein. He is the Weinstein Company, after all. So best not to do battle with him because you really want to make money with him. But the women are all going to be objects of desire. That's what he's selling in his movies, the women. And the women want to be in his movies. And there's one route in, the leather couch.
All right, cupcake, right over here.
Here it is. And then he'll pull down his boxer shorts after pulling down these hot, sweaty pants that he's been on all day. It's LA, it's summer, it's hot, mosquitoes, fungus, pulls down those pants. And there's this gnarled rictus of deformed nubbins and weird sutured scarred tissue hanging, dangling, multiple parts of which one would never guess that was male reproductive organs once upon a time. And the women are told, come on, eat. It was given for you. You want the pot? Go for it. And they, like gophers, think there's nuts there because gophers like nuts. But there are no nuts. So the gopher gets confused. The gopher recoils in horror. It looks at it and it says, but I don't see any nuts. Go get the nuts. So all they can do is pull out their gopher teeth, their gnawing gopher teeth, and gnaw at the gnarled nubbin and hope that there's some kind of nerve ending still in there to excite the Weinstein.
And he has to inject his penis before he can even get an erection. That's another part of it, is he has to actually inject it directly with some medicine. And only then can he...
Connie, get in here. Bring the injection.
Well, let me ask you, gnarled rictus. I'm never looking up your words again. It's a fruitless endeavor.
There's a secretary just for that.
So let me ask the goddess Guppy here, because you're of the female persuasion. You weren't persuaded. It just kind of happened.
Absolutely.
So you an unpersuaded, naturally born female who identifies as a woman.
Yes, sir.
I'm just making that clear so I get the pronoun.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, even better. I like this is working really great.
It's beautiful.
So here is...
He's going to call for the injection.
Okay. So there you are. You want the part. You're in his office. You had butterflies in your stomach. You talked about it with your friends. They said you got to go in.
Yes.
You got to do it. You're gonna get the casting couch, and you
Mhm.
just got to do it for England. Close your eyes. Think of Netflix, whatever. Just think of yourself on the marquee at the movie theater. Think of yourself in the credits, special guest star. That's an extra money. Your agent wants you to do this. Your agent's like, look, sweetheart, come on, let's be real. And your manager's like, yeah, I'm not registered as anything. Managers can work outside the law. So do it. So you're like, oh, shit, I want this role. Okay. So you go in there and there you are confronted. He pulls down these heavy, thick pants. His suspenders come off. He's in his boxer shorts and they're kind of clinging to the hair on his thighs.
Mhm.
Seen that before. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he pulls them down. And there it is, this ball of convoluted, just it looks like a ball of popcorn, really.
I've got to really want that part really bad. It's got to be a really once in a lifetime opportunity, Cary.
It's a once in a lifetime part. So here's this ball of popcorn. Some of it is overcooked. Some of them popped and turned black. It's a scary looking chronicle. And there it is. You're faced with it. And now he goes and leans over, pulls out what looks like a fountain pen kit. You know, you open it up like a diamond bracelets in a beautiful case with the velvet on the inside. He opens it up and there's a syringe and a little vial of liquid. He pulls it up, sticks the syringe in, and then draws out X amount of cc's, pulls it out, gives a little squirt so it comes out the end of the needle there, and then drives it into his popcorn. Drives that needle into his popcorn. Depresses the plunger. You can actually hear the thrust of the liquid filling up inside of the popcorn ball. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, it comes to life. It starts to unfurl.
It's alive!
It's alive!
Like
aliens. And there's this big squid-like
John
thing,
Carpenter's The Thing,
like a lamprey eel staring at you.
I'm never having popcorn again.
Sid, enjoy your dinner, by the way. One of the comments.
Thank you to the dinner crowd.
Too much.
We are the best dinner conversation in town.
For the intrepid ones.
Where's General Howitzer when I need him?
I'm telling you, this is the stuff this is the added dimension of the assault, is the trauma that goes with having someone who is facially disfigured, his genitalia is disfigured, there's injection involved. Some people have needle phobia, right? So it's traumatic on multiple levels and it's impossible for these women to forget. So our hearts go out to all of them. And there were a lot of them, a lot more than we know.
Yeah. And think how tough it is also as a woman, you know, you can't just go in and shake hands. I mean, some can, but you're not Joan Crawford. You can't just barge in there and go, hey, Javi, you know, I want to cut you a deal. I want to be in your picture. You know, how much? Here's my contract. Here's the deal. Up yours, cowboy. You can't.
You don't got the power. You don't got the juice.
That's right. You don't have the power. He has all the power. He decides who's in, who's not in. And when you're in, it's worth millions of dollars. So there's a lot at stake. And you're on the big screen. Once you've got a good role in a big movie, now you can get another one. You put it on your reel. Your reel ends up on IMDb. You are now someone. So really, it's so much more than just an audition. That you have to encounter this snarled tangle of barbed wire and dead animals in his boxer
shorts. It's not worth it. Let me tell all the ladies out there, it's not worth it, because you can justify it and say this, I'll just do it one time. It's 90 seconds. You never get over that 90 seconds. It turns into infinity because it's on a reel in your brain.
That's
Can't forget that shit.
90 seconds.
I'll never forget this episode, and it didn't even happen to me. I'll never forget it. But we do have to go because we have another show coming on.
Describing Harvey Weinstein's.
But we do have another show that is actually supposed to be starting. So I wish we could keep going, but we can't, guys.
All right. Well, let me just thank you. I know we have a hard out. No double meaning.
Oh, it's a hard out, Cary.
It's a hard out. It's what it's called. It's called a hard out. It's
a hard out. Yeah.
We have a hard out, a hard out, a hard
well,
out.
We have our hearts out.
There's a hard on and a hard out. This is a hard out.
Yes.
We want you to go to TikTok, follow that so we can get up to 1,000. Because then when Renee wants to have me on her show, I could say yes. But until I have 1,000, being still a young, delicate virgin that I am on TikTok, I have to say no. And saying no to Renee, very bad.
And my genitalia is not even a toadstool.
No, I imagine not. Rory?
I love the crickets. Usually Cary has to come back.
We're not allowed to say anything. We're not allowed to even respond. So on that note,
somebody putting an umbrella in there and opening it up.
Oh, that's called a speculum, but another show for another day.
That's another show for another day.
And a speculum on ice cubes, which is a woman's favorite thing.
Oh, yeah.
Metal speculum. Put it, maybe spray it with nitrogen.
Mm-hmm.
Get it nice and cold. Yeah.
You're getting me too excited, Cary, and I have another show to do. I can't get this excited right now.
Bye, you guys. This was great fun. We'll do it again.
Okay.
Don't forget to go to TikTok and follow.
TikTok.